as well. Now, let's try to understand what is agile in software testing. Let's work on, because in the market, a lot of concepts are there about agile, right? So first, let's understand what is agile testing. Agile testing is about first, let's understand what is agile. Agile have some values, some principle, right? Agile, if we talk about, so in agile testing, what different we do? We are absolutely a traditional working team, and we have an agile team, and we have a difference between traditional versus agile team. And we have a one approach which we follow in agile testing, that is a whole team approach, right? So here in this upcoming topic, we are going to discuss about you, Stephen, you can raise your question. You raise your hand, then I will allow to unmute. Why I have asked you to unmute? Okay, let me do it. Okay, now you can unmute, and I request that please don't unmute yourself in case if you are. If you're not speaking. So here, first, let's understand, like here, the main topic or how the context will go on. First, we are going to understand what is agile, right? Anyone can tell me what do you mean by agile? If I say a single word, you have to write what is agile. So what do you think? What comes in your mind? What is agile?
Flexibility.
Flexibility, fantastic.
Customer acceptance at any point of time.
Okay, customer
What's
acceptance, flexibility, customer acceptance. What else?
Value.
Value and
improvisation, incremental delivery.
correct. It's a faster to the market. You can say it's a quality. Lot of words which comes in your mind, right? Now let's understand the concept. What is agile? And then the same question I will ask from you. How many of you have traveled with by train, any of your life? In your life, how many have you traveled from by the train? Most of you, I believe, right?
most of them?
Absolutely. Now, let's suppose you are traveling by train. So during the train journey, there are a lot of things. I mean, during your journey, there is a bridges, there is a tunnel, there is a cities, right? Multiple mountains, lot of things which comes during your journey. Now, let's suppose like one blur image you guys are looking here. Let's suppose on your track, any tree has been fallen. What will happen? Will your train move, or how your train will move? Anyone?
It will not move. It will stand, and the pilot will try to remove if he can, or else
Mhm.
big machine has to be brought to remove it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, if we talk about in your traditional approach, right, in your traditional development process, if I talk about the sequential one, like waterfall or V model, so usually it takes 2 to 5 years to complete. It was long to complete. After 2 years, today I have given you some of requirement. I have given you that I want to make this kind of a software, this kind of a project, and you are coming to me after 2 years. There could be possibility that what I said, what you are making is having a gap. Also, if there is any hindrance, because what was happening that, let me just draw something here, that phases were going in a sequence way, right? This one, and this one, like it's a requirement, then design, then after that coding. If I talk about a V model, then it is your unit testing, or then system testing, then integration, and then your acceptance testing, right? So it was going in a sequence. Now what was happening? If any hindrance is coming here, rest other part are going to block here. Any hindrance can block your progress. You cannot move further unless and until this impediment or this hindrance has not been removed. Dependencies have a big role. Reason, because you are, let's suppose in your project, you have to make at least 150 functionality. You are making all 150 functionality in one go. So definitely there is a huge dependency in all of them. You have to resolve them. And also it was not easy to identify what is your unknown area. That was a challenge in your traditional approach. Now, let's suppose any volunteer here who can unmute and please let's discuss the next slide. Any volunteer? No one? Any volunteer who would like to just discuss, I mean, from whom I can discuss the next slide?
Yes, we can discuss, Nitish. Stephen
Okay.
this side.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. So, Stephen, let's suppose you are traveling from by train, if I consider, so at least 400 kilometers of a
Okay.
distance, correct? Let's
Okay.
suppose instead of by traveling by train, you have broken the journey and you started traveling by car or by some wagon or by bus, you started traveling the same 400-kilometer distance.
Okay.
Same situation is occurring, like on your road, there is a impediment, there is a some blockage, and there is a some tree has been fallen on the road, right? What you
Yes.
will do in that situation?
If I'm traveling with fellow passengers, we all will try to remove that hurdle if that hurdle
Okay.
is too big, uh,
Hmm.
or if it is small, I'll try to remove it by myself.
Hmm.
If it is not possible to remove that hurdle, I will try to take another path.
Absolutely. So there is an alternate approach, right? Now, if you can break your journey into a smaller one, right? Like a big distance, like 400 kilometers. If you can break it in a sprint or in a small distance of 100 kilometer, it will be easy for you to cover the distance. Let me give you another very practical example. Like nowadays, it's a foggy season in North India. It doesn't mean that people are not traveling in the night, but how they are traveling, they are going by 10 meters, they got the visibility, next 10 meter, next 10 meter, by this way. If any of you have drive the car in that situation, so you must aware about how people travel in a fog season or in a rainy season as well, if it is a raining like cats and dogs. So you find that few meters you have a visibility, you travel by that distance, and then next few meter the visibility increases and you travel by that. In the same way, if your traditional approach, which was of around 2 to 4 year of a journey. Stephen, please mute yourself. So if you have that much of a journey, right, and that you have broken into a small one, correct? It was easy to travel. One thing. Second thing, you decided previously there was a 150 functionalities. You decided during first sprint or during first of your release, we will deliver the 50 functionality, then 50, then next 50, and then next 50. It will be easy to identify the dependency among those 50 functionality. Plus, your team will be easy for to understand what kind of a functionality they are going to tell up. So easy to define the unknown things. It was very easy, right? And the hindrances which is coming here, it was easy whenever you have divided your long releases to the small one. And believe me, agile is the same thing. Agile is a mindset of breaking your long journey into shorter one by learning from your previous experience how you can handle the situation and make the process more smooth. That is your agile. So agile is, again, I'm saying, it is having some set of principles, or you can say it's a mindset, right? I am not sure it is a methodology or not, because I don't consider it's a methodology, right? But agile tells you the way how to do the things in a smoother way by following some process, by learning your previous experience. Got it? Anyone have any doubt can unmute and can ask me the question. Otherwise, I move further. Now, if I ask the same question from you again, just tell me one word for agile. So what do you think? What is agile now? Previously, you said it's customer oriented, delivery, and all these things. Now, if I ask what is agile, so what do you think? What is agile? Any of you?
Process.
Process, yes.
People over processes.
People over process, correct? Okay. So agile, you can say it's a smaller sprint. You can say it's a process, or by learning previous experience, right? That we can say it's a one word for agile, right? Now let's talk about, most of the people say agile is iterative and incremental. Anyone have any idea what is iterative, what is incremental?
Like
Um,
to,
repetitive, probably.
Okay. What else?
to,
Uh,
to break one big requirement into smaller requirement, and then we will be delivering in different drops for
Mhm.
that big requirement.
Okay. Okay.
uh, incremental is developing into bits and pieces. We are developing something. We are looking how it is, analyzing it again, putting some bricks and developing it. That is incremental. We develop into the installments.
Hmm.
Iterative is a continuous process, I believe.
Okay. So my idea always, whenever I teach or whenever I learn the concept, I correlate the concept with my behavioral example, right? So let's try to understand the iterative and incremental by that way. Most of you have gone to the restaurant with your family, with your friends, right? Now, the ordering of food, what sequence we usually follow during in our restaurant? We first order any starter, then we order main course, then dessert, and then we pay the bill and come out from the restaurant. Now, if I say, if instead of consuming one bowl of a soup, if I consume 3 or 4 bowl of a soup, do you believe that my hunger will go and my stomach will full? Yes or no? Obviously, yes, right? Guys, please, that's why I've given you opportunity to unmute yourself. So make this interactive.
Sorry, Nitesh, can you explain that again? I did not got your point.
Okay. As I said, there is a sequence of ordering food in restaurant. The first one is your starter, then main course and dessert. If, for example, if I have ordered 4 bowl of a soup and I have consumed that, is it possible that my tummy will full? Might be possible, right?
Yes.
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 Correct. Now, the same thing. If whatever the things I am delivering, right? If it is a complete functionality in itself, but or that is consumable, or you can say that can be used by the customer, but not a complete functionality. Like, well, first let's understand incremental, then we go for any definition again. Incremental is something you are delivering in pieces of. It's not complete functionality you are delivering, but whatever you are delivering, it is complete in itself. Incremental, that like here you can see the image. The first one is one part of Mona Lisa painting. In iterative, the first image, even the first image you can put in your drawing room, and it doesn't mean that nothing is incomplete, like nose, hand, everything is there, right? So at least it can be used. But if I talk about incremental, so it's a just partial of the functionality you are delivering. For example, let's understand the concept in our IT world. Let's suppose your Amazon comes and says that I want to develop our payment method. Now, payment could be having thousands of a way. It could be payment UPI, it could be debit card, credit card, online, scanner, OTP, whatever the things, right? In any payment gateway, a lot of things are there. Payment is a complete functionality, right? Now, if I talk about in iterative, I am delivering first time with a UPI payment. Now, UPI payment is I am delivering in one sprint or in a one release. It's a complete functionality we are delivering. But the payment gateway, we are not delivering completely. We have delivered one part of payment gateway, right? So, but whatever we have delivered, like by UPI payment, that is complete. There is no defect, and that feature can be used by the customer. Same thing we say always, iterative and incremental. Whatever the functionality you are delivering, that can be consumed, but although it is not a complete feature. Any question, any doubt here? Iterative and incremental?
No.
Okay. If you have any doubt, please unmute and please ask. Right? Like I said.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir.
No problem.
Just to differentiate, like, so as part of incremental, we will be delivering a product that will not be usable, And as part of iterative, whatever we will deliver to a client, that will be usable.
In Agile, that's a good question, Vipin, for asking. So in Agile, we follow iterative and incremental. So whatever we deliver in particular sprint, right, that is usable, although it may not be a complete functionality or complete feature, you can say, but whatever we are delivering, that is usable in a sprint, right? So Agile works in your both iterative and incremental.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Now, as I said, Agile is a mindset, or Agile is some set of principles. Now, whenever we say principle, so principle work on some working ethics, and those working ethics coming by some values and some principles. So there are 4 key Agile values. Let's talk about them. The first one is your individual interaction over process and tool, right? And the second one is your customer collaboration over contract negotiation. The third is working software over comprehensive documentation. And the fourth one is respond to change over following a plan. Agile never says that you should not rely on process and tools, but whenever you will talk about here, the below line is mentioned in the black color, which means, and it always says individual and interaction over process and tool, right? They have written over. If you will minutely observe, it is written over. It is not, they have written individual and interaction, but not process and tools. So guys, please concentrate here, because on the YouTube, on internet, lot of materials are there, but sometimes we get confused what is exactly meaning of this, right? So the first key value, if we will talk about the Agile value, so it is individual and interaction over process and tool. Agile says instead of more dependency on tools, better interact with the people, better give opportunity to the people where they can interact, they can make a better solution, right? Instead of you are relying on the tool every time. It doesn't mean that you should not use the tool in your project, but do not rely on that. For example, in software testing perspective, there are a lot of documentation. If you will talk about, lot of working products are there. There is a test strategy, test plan, test closure report, test summary report. There is a test monitoring progress. There is a test case. Lot of things are there, right? Lot of reports we produce. Agile says before making any document, right? Before, okay, that was a next working software or comprehensive documents, but let's talk about the first one now. Individual and interaction is very much required, right? So before implementing any process, make sure your team is comfortable on that or not, right? The next one is your working software over comprehensive documentation, which means, like I said before, in software testing, lot of documents are there. Before making those documents, ask few questions from yourself. Are they really important? Are they going to add some value to the customer? Is it any workaround for that document or not? Ask these questions from you, and then you will realize that these documents are really important or not. So instead of focusing on those documentation, major focus on working software, what client is looking for. Today, if I compile a lot of things, this is my process, this is my test plan, this is my strategy, this is my test monitoring report, I will do these things, this is my defect management process, all these things, blah, blah, blah. End of the day, we are not delivering any software, or we are delivering software which is having no quality. Client will say, boss, I am not looking for the documents which you have made. I am looking for the solution what I was expecting from you, right? So Agile always focus on the solution which we are providing to the customer. Again, it doesn't mean that you should not make a document, but keep it minimum, right? Only if it is required. Next is your customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Like in traditional approach, what was happening that whatever the contract has been signed, whatever the SOW has been signed, the team started working on that. And there was a customer collaboration was happening even after 6 months or after 2 years, once the software has been delivered. At that time, customer comes into a picture. Now just realize, any of you, for example, let me pick any of you. Okay. Venkat, can you please unmute yourself? Yeah, thank you. So Venkat, you have any of your fast friend in your life? I think you are outside somewhere.
Yes, traveling.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Then you can mute yourself. Let me ask any other person. Gajen, can you unmute yourself? Okay, might be Gajen is not in mood to unmute, or if you are speaking, you are on mute. Jigna, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So Jigna, I ask one question from you. Who is your fast friend in your and best friend in your life?
Pardon?
Who is Gajen? I'm not sure. You guys can unmute yourself. I have given uh, access to you. So Jigna, who is best friend in your life?
Oh, she's in India. Harshita. Yeah.
Okay, and you okay, no problem, Gajen. So and any of your friend whom you meet on a regular basis, like after a interval of 1 week or 10 days?
Yeah, we do meet here. Yeah.
Okay, so any of his or her behavior you have opted, or your behavior opted by your friend? Somewhere,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
somewhere, right? Now
Yeah.
just remember any of your friend who was in your who was your childhood friend, right? Now you are
Yes. Oh,
meeting the person after a long interval, 10 year, 15 years later on. So
mm.
that person, any of the any of the quality which impacted, or I mean, you have opted any quality from your friend or this friend whom you are
Yeah.
meeting on regular basis,
Yeah. Update.
right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
correct. Now, guys, correlate this concept with this example. Customer collaboration. If your customer is interacting with you on regular basis, believe me, your team and you will be aligned with the customer vision. And that is why Agile prefers the same concept. Instead of interacting with your customer later on, after 6 months, after 1 year or 2 year, you will not be aligned what customer is looking for. But Agile gives you an opportunity that you should focus more on customer collaboration. And that's why you have an opportunity, or you will align what customer is looking for. Next is your response to change over following a plan. It may be possible. Okay, let me pick another name here. Okay. Okay, Venkatesh, are you comfortable to unmute?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell.
Okay. So Venkat, let's suppose on one fine day you decided to paint your house, or renovate your house, right? Now,
Okay.
what happens that you have called to few of the paint company like in India there is a Berger, there is Asian Paints, Nerolac is there. You call to their representative, they came, they have given you the estimate, right? Now it
Yes.
may be possible that you have, for example, one room you want to color with a blue, just randomly I'm giving an example. One room with a blue color, one room with a pink color, one room with a green color, something like that, right? Now, what
Yes.
happens
Yes.
that today is the Saturday, you have given the estimate, and they said, okay, sir, we are uh, all has given the estimate to you, and you have finalized the budget paid, right? Correct. Then
Okay.
they
Oh,
said, okay, sir, on Monday we will come and we will start working. Correct.
yes.
Now, it may be possible on Sunday evening, one of your friend came and said, Venkat, this you thought this room is with a pink color. Why you are making it in a pink color? Pink color is not good, right? You can make it with some pistachio color. That will be good. You thought, yeah, good idea. I can change it. And then you have given a call to Berger Paint, that representative, and said, boss, I want to change this color because the pink color is not good. And this happens usually, right?
Correct.
Right. Now your paint representative said, no, sir, now you have given the estimate. We have purchased the color and everything. We can't change it. That's a one scenario. Second scenario, your Burgeon Paint representative says, fair enough, sir. We respect our customer and we know what is the value for you for your home. So we respect that. We will change the color, but sir, might be possible you have to pay some extra amount that
Extra
and
one.
I make sure that that will not be a much big, right? But you have to pay. So please consider that amount. Which scenario will you like, Venkat?
Second one.
Why so?
Yes.
Why so? Why you will like the second? Because it is extra charge they are asking.
But my satisfaction is occurred, right? Even extra charges are then.
Absolutely. So guys, because of the competitive market, right? Today, client has decided to go with this software. Might be down the line after 3 months because of the competitive edge. And you know, this is a cutthroat competition in the market. Might be possible your client is having some more expectation. So there could be possibility that requirement will change during your development, right? And Agile gives you an opportunity, or Agile gives you a way how to respond to change over following a plan, right? That is the fourth value we are talking about, correct? Apart from that, it may depend, like, again, if let's suppose the client is changing the requirement on frequent basis, might be your team can deny that also, correct? Both the things are possible, but yes, Agile gives you a flexibility that you can respond to a change over following a plan, right? So here I have just okay, so I have just made it. If you guys want, you can read it, then I will move on. I am giving just 1 minute to all of you. If in case if you have any question, we will discuss, else I will move to the next slide. So your time starts now. Please read it by 1 minute. Okay, I believe it's done now. Now,
No, sir, we still, I think I was in our last one. Can you just give us 30 seconds more, please?
okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, done.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, now we have seen 4 values of Agile. And as I said, Agile is set of principles which is made on the basis, or Agile is a mindset which is made on values and the principles, right? So there are 4 values and 12 principles. Let's talk about those principles, because whenever we say Agile, we should always aware about those values and the principle. The first principle says the customer satisfaction through early and continuous software delivery. The frequency of delivery is not that we are delivering first in 15 days, then in a month, then 2 months, and then 3 months, something like that. It should be on a regular basis, one, and as early as we are providing solution to the customer, and working solution. That is very important, right? Working solution, and then it will give the customer satisfaction. So the first principle is talking about you should deliver on a frequent basis as early as you can give the solution, which is in a working position or in a working condition. That will give you the customer satisfaction, which is most important. The second principle, if I talk about, it says accommodate changing requirement throughout the development process, because nowadays customer is demanding. Also, the market is very competitive, right? Even after you have seen from last 2 or 3 years, once the this COVID situation has hit across this globe, right? requirement has been changed now. Now the companies has thought we can give some extra amount to the employees to set up an office at their home, right? So requirement are changing, and it always says when you are in Rome, then be the Roman, correct? So accommodate any requirement are coming throughout the development process. It is not that initially we can accommodate, but even at the later stages, it is coming. You have an option, you have the capacity, you have the flexibility to adapt the change. In traditional approach, it was absolutely not possible because you have to again go backtrack to the previous phases and then you can accommodate the requirement. That was very much challenging. But in Agile, we have an option. So we will see in upcoming slide how this is possible. The third principle, if I talk about, so it says frequent delivery of working software. Every time the quality cannot be compromised. If we talk about there is a sprint, if you guys know, which is your delivery, right? So in every delivery, your quality should not be degraded. Like previously, you have given this much of quality. Now, this time you are giving this much quality. Or previously, you have released 10 functionality. Now you are releasing only 4 functionality. It should not be compromised. Again, situation can be different because exception is everywhere, but your frequent delivery should be consistent and it should be having every time the working software. Any question, any doubt in these 3 principles? Okay, I consider it as a no question. Then let's move on to the 4th principle, which says collaboration between business stakeholder and developers throughout the project. Your business people always do interact. Like here in upcoming slide, we will study about the Scrum, which is most renowned framework in Agile. Although there are some other frameworks as well, but we will discuss Scrum. So in Scrum, there are some events, some ceremonies, like there is a sprint planning, there is a daily Scrum, there is a sprint review, then there is a retrospective. So and the duration of a sprint is 2 to 4 weeks. Every time in one sprint, the customer interact with your team. That is during your sprint review, right? So customer collaboration is very much required. Even though if the customers are not coming, you have a product owner who represent the customer. They being interact or they are always approachable to the developer throughout the project, right? Then 5th principle is talking about support, trust, and motivate the people involved. One very good saying I was just studying or reading on LinkedIn. Your salary can make you happy once in a month, but positive environment and motivated environment can make you happy every day in your office. And this is nothing but one of the Agile principle. Support, do trust on the people who are working with you. It's not a bossism attitude. You do this, I have allocated this task. What is the status? I am expecting that you guys need to finish in 2 days. I don't know how, but you have to finish. Please do not follow that kind of attitude if you are working in Agile. Everyone is equally important in your team, whether a fresher or 20 years of experience, doesn't matter. Support, trust, and motivate the people who are involved. Give them an opportunity. It is always about pass your intent and consider that they will do good, right? The 6th principle, if I talk about, it says enable face-to-face interaction, right? Whether you are working in online mode, offline mode, doesn't matter, but your meeting should be on a, if you are working in online, it should be video on, which is more because it, again, like we Indians know very well that emotions, we Indians are very emotional. We know this thing, right? And believe me, whenever the emotions comes or the relationships come in your team, right? When people start respecting to each other, and that comes whenever you do the face-to-face interaction. So that is very important during Agile, that enable face. I mean, these all the things you can say. Sometimes I believe that whenever I go with the Indian Asian culture, so these things has been bought from there. How our ancestors were doing. They always believe in making the relationship. The same concept followed here, that enable face-to-face interaction, right? Any question, any doubt here? In 4th, 5th, and 6th principle?
Not good.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to 7th, 8th, and 9th principle. The 7th principle is saying working software is the primary measure of a progress. Measure of a progress is considered only on the basis of what you have delivered, right? That is most important. It is not that how much we are delivering, but whatever we are delivering, that is in a working condition, right? If we are delivering any defect, having any quality issues product, believe me, they are not going to work. And tomorrow, it again, like in our normal business, if we talk about, so business runs on a mouth-to-mouth publicity. In the similar way, the client also, if you are making the working software, working solution for your client, believe me, tomorrow your organization will get more business from the client, and the client will recommend also to other of their client as well, right? The earth principle, which we talk about here, agile process support a consistent development pace, which is again the release. It is always recommended that whatever your development pace, it should be consistent, not irregular. The first principle that we have talked about, you're working software on a frequent interval. The same principle it is talking about. Now, if we say the ninth principle, attention to technical detail and design, which enhance the agility, right? Now, here I give you one example, like actually I teach ISTQB also. So if I ask one question with my participant, do you guys as a software tester go and refer to the architectural diagram while making the test case? Believe me, 70% software tester doesn't say that they create the test case on the basis of architectural diagram. They create the test case on the basis of only requirement or the user story. Why it is happening so? Why not you are, because if there is any architecture in your team, it has a meaning. If there is any architectural diagram, it has a meaning, because it tells you what kind of APIs, microservices, or integration has been done. Always agile focus on give technical detail and design which enhances the agility. How you can make your process smoother, how you can adapt the automation not only for the testing, but how you can integrate, like you guys aware that there is a concept of CI/CD, right? How you can remove less or make the less dependency on the people, but make dependency on making any software, right, which has a less dependency. And DevOps is a similar kind of a concept. I'm sorry, any question on 7th, 8th, and 9th principle? Okay, now let's move on to the 10th principle, which says simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. One of the most important principle out of 12. Okay. Before discussing of this point, let me ask you one question. Most of you are from engineering background, since you all are in IT, either have done MC or BTech or graduation from somewhere, right? If two questions has been asked in IIT exam, which is one of the renowned college in India, if two questions has been asked, write your complete name, and second question, write your date of birth. 50-50 marks, and 100 marks is a passing exam. What do you think now? Two simple question, how many people will clear the exam? What should be the percentage? Any of you?
Just to write as a case or just as a plain text one?
Two questions in your IIT entrance exam. Write your complete name, write your date of birth.
I mean, I don't have engineering background actually. It's
that's
nursing.
okay.
So.
I mean, that's okay. Like, let's suppose any entrance exam, let's suppose 1 lakh people have participated, and two simple question has been asked. Write your complete name, write your date of birth. What do you think? What should be the passing percentage there?
That is 100%.
Everyone
Sorry?
will pass.
Everyone will pass. Are you sure?
Yeah, we can write our date of birth as well as full name.
Okay. Are you sure? 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So I'm not sure if you guys have read S.C. Verma book, which is a very renowned book in physics. In IIT entrance, we use it. S.C. Verma, who is a renowned faculty in IIT Kanpur. The same question he was asked. He said, Approximately 60% people will clear the exam. Why? Because people will apply the and make it complex. Some will think it is asked complete name. Should I write in a capital letter or in small letter? Should I write in a camel letter? First letter is capital, then rest is small letter. Or how I should write? Should I make any gap there? Date of birth I should write 01031985, or should I write 1st March MARCH 1981, or should I write in alphabets? People will make it complex, right? I'm surprised that if you are saying 100%, still if I give you the same question here, believe me, again, I'm not saying anyone is right or wrong, but believe me, out of 15 people, the answers will not match, right? Are you guys agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it happens. The same thing we do in our IT industry as well. Agile always says, don't make the things complex. Make it simple, make it less dependent, make it, if you have any unknown things, don't work on that unless and until you are not clear with the concept, right? So the 10th principle is talking about simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. Or you can break it, simplicity is essential, right? So if you are finding that any work is challenging here, obviously we work on that, but yes, make it simple, or how simpler process you can make it, that agile focus on. Now let's talk about the 11th principle. The 11th principle says self-organizing team encourage great architecture and requirement and design. Believe me, when your team is organized, when they are cross-functional, when they know, they understand the value, they will obviously give the best output. One good saying that you guys have heard, like Mr. Ajit Premji says, that people don't leave the organization, they leave the managers. Here is the 11th principle talk about. When you will encourage your team, when you will motivate it, when they are appreciated, believe me, you will get the best design, best architecture, best requirement from your team, right? They will be self-organized. Now let's talk about the 12th principle, which says regular reflection on how become more effective. Okay, any of you are parent here who whose kid is going to school?
Yep.
Okay, so Jigna, there is a PTM, right, which happens in your kids' school.
Yeah. Yeah.
On what frequency?
Twice a year.
Twice a year. Let's suppose if it starts happening after every month, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So twice a year, then you get some feedback for your kids and you improve them also. I mean, you help your kid to improve on those areas,
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
correct? If that is happening on a monthly basis, will that be more helpful?
Then that will be very useful. Yeah.
Absolutely. Here, the 12th principle is talking about whenever you will discuss, whenever you will take a feedback or do the retrospect. One very good saying good saying for us, that self-evaluation, just close your eyes for a 5 minutes entire day and think about yourself. That is self-evaluation. Very simple thing, but I don't believe more than 3 or 4% people do this thing. Very simple, but believe me, once you start doing this thing, you will find a better human of yourself. The 12th principle is talking about the same. Whenever we complete the delivery, whenever the sprint has been completed, you should be always reflect how you can become more effective by doing some retrospective, by doing some feedback session, which is very important. Agile talk about the same thing in its 12th principle. Any question, any doubt on 10th, 11th, and 12th principles? Any of you? Okay, thank you, Jigna. Now, guys, I mean, you understood the values and principles, and most of the time they become very complex for us to understand. And I try to keep them in a simple language so you can able to understand the concept. Right now, let's talk about Agile framework. Right. And very surprising, there was a 21 people in this forum and now only 15 people, including me, 16. I don't know I'm teaching right or wrong, but still what people are looking, I'm not sure, right? So here, framework, as I said, Agile is not a methodology. Agile is a mindset, which is based on some set of values and principles, which tells you what to do on the basis of your experience, on the basis of in the past, how you have solved that challenge, how you have solved that impediment, but how to do that is covered in your framework, right? So Agile framework is a method has been used to develop and create a new software. The approach undertaken for Agile is an iterative approach, which means whenever the new development or any form of requirement are discovered or needed, they are added to the software, right? Which means framework always tell you the process, how to achieve your objective, right? Again, I'm repeating, Agile tells you what to do, but never tells you how to do. And framework tells you how to do. Now, if I move on to the next slide. So here, multiple framework in your Agile, like there is a lightweight, there is a fuller approach. If you have a single team, that we call it as a lightweight, where we follow the Scrum, we follow the Kanban, CI/CD, right, test-driven development. If we talk about the fuller approach, so where more than one team participate, so there is a Scrum of Scrum, there is a scaled Agile, there is a Spotify, there is a up, there is a open. So multiple frameworks are there which help you to achieve your objective, right? Now, since here in this forum, in this class, we don't have sufficient time to cover all the frameworks. So I picked a Scrum here, which is the most favored and which is used by most of the organization, the Scrum we follow. Now, a Scrum is the process, or a Scrum is the time frame box process, which gives you an opportunity to complete your process within 2 to 4 weeks. Again, depends what kind of a length you want to take it. And there are some roles and responsibility. There are some terms which we use, like there is a product backlog, vision, there is a sprint backlog, then there is a some activities or event which we do, like your sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, sprint retrospective, and then you deliver the working software, right? And it follows all the 4 values and the 12 principle, correct? So let's talk about Scrum. Here is some kind of animation. Let me move on and please analyze this. First is, let's talk about the Scrum ceremonies, right? So there are 4 ceremonies, as I said: sprint planning, Scrum, daily Scrum. Don't call it daily stand-up, because daily stand-up word we don't use as per scrum.org, right? Because it is somewhere hurting people. Again, I am not here to degrade anyone, but might be some people who cannot stand, they find this word as awkward. So that's why we don't use it as a daily stand-up. We call it as a daily Scrum, a sprint review, and then there is a sprint retrospective. So here, let's first just watch this animation, then I will explain. Idea that converted into a product backlog, right? Product backlog went into a sprint backlog. This sprint backlog has been taken care in your sprint, which goes on 2 to 4 weeks of a sprint. All right. Once it has been completed, it goes on your sprint review, then retrospective, and then we deliver it. Right. Now let's try to understand the concept here with few examples. Right. Anyone can be a volunteer here? Anyone would like to be a volunteer?
Yes, I will go for that.
Okay, so Jigna, thank you so much. You are always participating, but rest other people are very silent.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay, no problem. Rutika, are you there? Rutika, Ankita, and there is a Neha, there is a Ehsan, there is a Nikki, Prajakta.
Yes, Nitish.
Okay, thank you so much, Ankita, for unmuting, because when we do the two-way communication, and that Agile always say it should be individual and interaction is very much important, right? So Ankita, let's suppose
Okay.
you are a developer, correct? And you are
Okay.
very good friend of mine, right? And one fine day I
Right.
came, we both met, and I say, Ankita, I don't know, but on the road, lot of traffics are there, and I want to reduce the traffic, right? Since you are a
Hmm.
developer, you have a development company, so you can suggest me something, right? So here
Right.
I'm just setting the some scenario, and then we will talk. And other, please concentrate how basically Scrum, or how, what is the relation between your vision, theme, feature, right, and epic, feature, user stories, and tasks, right? So please, others, please understand the concept from this example, right? So Ankita, the scenario is I am very good friend of you, right? And one day, one fine day, we both met, and I share one problem with you. And since you have a development company, so you have to suggest me something, correct?
Okay.
Okay. So let's suppose we met on particular day. Hi Ankita, how are you?
Hi, Nitesh. I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you, Ankita. Ankita, you know, nowadays a lot of traffic on the road, and I want to reduce some traffic from the road. So how that can be done? I mean, any solution by the software?
Right. We can have some map with us, which provide us alternative routes or something,
Okay,
showing the time, how much time it can reduce to the way that we
but
want to reach.
how that will reduce the traffic from the road? Because
Right.
again,
That
if I'm
wouldn't
taking
reduce.
any alternative route, so might be possible I'm increasing the traffic on another road as well.
Right.
So what do you think? What should be the solution here? What solution you can provide?
More use of public transport.
Okay, that's one thing. Let's suppose on my road there is very less public transport.
Uh,
Hmm,
People can do carpool.
absolutely, right? So let's suppose Ankita, you suggested me to do the carpool, right?
Okay. Mhm.
Okay. Now, guys, my vision was reduce
Traffic.
traffic from road, and this is how any startup come into a picture with some problematic statement, finding the solution. Ankita has told me we can make one app where people can come and share their car as well, right? So now the Epic has been made, making a carpool app, right? Now this carpool app maybe have a multiple other features. What features? I can share my car, I can take ride from another car, or someone can share his or her car. These are some features. Now, if this feature, let's talk about, let's pick the first feature. I can share my car. This feature have multiple other functionalities, right? Which we call as a user stories. Some kind of authentication that I am giving right to a genuine person. The person is living on my path. It should be in the periphery of just 1 or 2 kilometers. Person is having the office in the same vicinity where my office is there, right? Some kind of a other requirement I am writing. So now correlate the concept here. It is a epic that is broken into a vision, right? That is broken into a features, which is broken into a user stories, and that user story. Let's suppose authentication, right? So authentication can have a development task also, testing task also, and UI task also. I mean UI UX task also, or architect task also. So one user story should be broken into multiple tasks, correct? This is the difference between vision, epic, feature, user story, and task. And in any sprint, we deliver the feature, right? Feature again, an epic can have a multiple feature. A feature can have a multiple user story. One user story can have a multiple task. So in any sprint, we either deliver the user story or one feature. So one feature can have a multiple story which we are delivering. So again, like iterative and incremental, right? So there was a Vipin, please, the concept which you have asked. So here we are not delivering the complete vision. We are not providing the complete solution. But whatever we are delivering, whatever feature or user story we are delivering in particular sprint, that is a solution. That is a working solution. Any question, any doubt in Epic feature, user story, and task?
No.
Any of you? No question, no doubt?
No.
Okay. Then let's talk about the roles which are there in your Scrum team. So there is a product owner, there is a Scrum master, and then there is a development team. Development team, or I should say developers. Developers, it doesn't mean that they are the developer. It could be your tester are also called as a developer in your Scrum team. Your architecture is also called as a developer in your team. And this complete, if I talk about the development team, so this is representing only developers, excluding Scrum Master and product owner. When I include Scrum Master and product owner, the complete team is known as your Scrum team. So someone says a Scrum team, which means included your product owner and Scrum Master. If someone says development team, so it excludes your Scrum Master and product owner from your Scrum team, right? Now, I am not going to discuss the roles and responsibility because it will take a much time. So here it is, the product backlog, and then what is your sprint backlog. So your product backlog, you can say it is a kind of a big book, which keeps the items like your epic, your features, your user stories, your defect, your unknown or unrefined things, your technical debt, your spike, everything is kept in your product backlog, which is the ownership of your product owner. And these all items are kept in a priority order, means the highest priority order on top and medium priority and then low priority, because in the same sequence, just a moment, they are kept in your priority order, and in the same sequence these items will come in your sprint backlog. This is sprint, and then this part has been finished, then next item will go in the next sprint, right? In the same sequence go on, then next item will go in next sprint, right? And in their priority order they deliver in your particular sprint, right? Here you can read it, it's a very simple, right? If you have any question you can ask, but let me again repeat it. I'm sorry. Your product backlog is like a big book which consists of multiple items. They could be your feature, your user stories, your defect, your technical debt, your spike, right? Your user stories, any item, they are kept, but in a priority order. They could be refined, they could be unrefined, both the things, right? But they are bringing, or an product owner who have a ownership of this maintaining the product backlog in a priority order, and product owner knows that in which order I need to deliver these items in which sprint. And your development team can come any of the time and watch these product backlog items. Now, your one question should come in your mind, then what is a sprint backlog? Sprint backlog are those items which are refined and which you are going to deliver in particular sprint as per definition of the sprint goal, which is defined or proposed by your product owner and accepted by the development team. Any question, any doubt here? Any of you?
No.
Okay. Now, let's talk about a whole team approach. Like we have seen, what are the ways or what are the approach by the testing people, right? So there is a whole team approach and there is a early frequent feedback, right? So just allow me a minute.